Hey guys, welcome back to another plan with me. This week I'm planning from May 8th to the 14th, and I'm using this Freaky Friday kit from Scribble Prints Co. But really quickly before I get into this current week, I just wanted to comment on my last video because I listened back to my voiceover and at times I sound very entitled and ungrateful, and I didn't mean to come across like that. I was just getting heated and angry at myself basically, and the world. I'm not gonna lie, inflation is no joke. Rent prices are no joke. But when I was talking about the internship and my boss and all that, I 100% never expect to make as much as an engineer, at all. It's just the realization that I am making the same as a college student is and the fact that I know that if I had managed to get through an interview without hyperventilating and crying when I was in college, I would just be in a different situation right now, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. That's all I meant by it. I regret the choices I made and also not going on some sort of anti-anxiety medication 10, 12 years ago. But yeah, so I hope that makes sense. Anyway, that's all. I promise I'm not that stupid. It came out wrong. You know, when you're if you make plan with me's, please let me know if you do this too. But I'm trying to fit everything I want to say into a very small time frame. And so when I finish the voiceover, I feel like I've said everything I wanted to say and I've gotten my point across. And then I edit it and I finish the video and I listen to it back and I'm like, ooh, why did I say that? That's not what I meant. But yeah, so anyway, I just did not feel like redoing that entire voiceover just to explain that little bit at the beginning. So anyway, moving on to the current week. I chose this kit because I thought it would be a really cute Mother's Day kit, and it was Mother's Day this week. And I also just felt like it just made me happy looking at it. I don't know, in my head I was like, this is perfect. We're going with it. I spent some time outdoors, so this double box over here on Saturday and Sunday just worked in my head, and yeah, I think this is a really cute kit for Mother's Day. As far as big events this week, oh, there was one. So Friday night, Joe had played a show on Temple's campus. It was a basement show, so there was no way in hell I was going. I am not partying with a bunch of college kids. I'd rather die. So I skipped it, and then he was going to come over afterwards because I live 3 minutes away from the campus. And he stays everywhere way too late. So by the time he left the show, I was already in bed, and I got a call from him asking if he should still come. And I was like, yeah, sure, we could, hang out for half an hour, because I had just gotten into bed. I wasn't asleep or anything. And then he was like, you know what? I can't even find parking anywhere near your area. There's tons of people double parked, and there's 50 people outside your building. And I was confused. I had no idea what he was talking about. And then he was like, you know what? I should probably just go straight home because I have all my gear in my car, and car theft is really bad in my area. So he left. And he was like, yeah, he said to me, he's like, I think they opened a club across from you. And I was like, what? And so I look outside. There are people all over the place in the streets, and they're coming out of this one building. But I managed to fall asleep. And then I get woken up at 3:30 in the morning by people screaming outside my building. I can hear every single word they're saying. The music across the street is so loud, my building is vibrating from across the street. There are people double parked everywhere, just yelling. I have never come so close to calling the cops. The only reason I didn't is because I had to look up if I legally could make a noise complaint at that time on a Friday. And then by 4 a.m., they all finally left. So I didn't call the cops, but I'm happy to report it was just some crazy party. There's no club across from me, but it was very concerning, and I got absolutely no sleep. But what else is new? Anyway, that happened on Friday, and other than that, it was a pretty normal week, so we'll just get right into it. Starting with Monday, the first thing I marked was that the bus was 20 minutes late. If you know, you know, I'm trying to take the bus and not pay for parking. And I was just bummed because I could have slept for an extra 20 minutes, but this is the price you pay for taking public transportation, and I still managed to beat my boss to the office, so, you know, could have made worse time. Then I marked that the walk back was absolutely brutal. I don't like taking the bus, and also I don't want to have to, like, wait for a bus after work. Like, I want to just go. You know what I mean? I don't want to stand outside and wait. As stupid as it sounds, because I'll still get back like maybe 10 minutes earlier if I take the bus. It's just not worth it to me. So I walked, but it was super hot, and my backpack is too heavy for me. So it was okay. I made it, and I decided to stop at Trader Joe's on the way to just make it worth it. In hindsight, that was a stupid idea because, yes, I pass right by it. So stopping in seems like an obvious choice. The bag was so heavy on top of my backpack. I was dying. So of course, when I got back, I took a nap, even though I don't want to be doing that. I was exhausted from my walk and just the long day. When Joe got back from his soccer game, we watched Love Island, and then I got in bed with some time to read, and I was still at the time reading The Maidens. Moving on to Tuesday, the first thing I marked was that Joe and I were woken up very early by upstairs workers. They're redoing the apartment above his, and they came at like 6 a.m., so that was lovely. Then I went home to work, and then on my break, I did my Couch to 5K. I believe I was still doing week 3 at this time, and then I just tried doing abs again. I only lasted 4 minutes, and then my break was over anyway, so I started a new audiobook, or maybe I didn't start it this day. I can't remember, but it was called Never Lie, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. It was entertaining. Sorry about the sirens. I wouldn't say it was amazing or a must listen or a must read, but I did enjoy it, and it was very easily digestible, which was like what I needed at the time. So I would give it 2 big thumbs up. I did a huge closet clean out finally. I had been putting this off for so long, but like I said, at this point, it's basically a 99.9% chance that I am moving in September. So it just makes sense to start the decluttering and the organization. And then I'm also happier in my space while I have it. So I finally did it, and I listened to my audiobook the whole time, which helped me get through it. And it looks so much better. I tried taking before and afters, but I forgot. But oh my God, there's no storage in this place, so you really have to stay organized or everything's a shit show. Then I worked on my puzzle, and then I finished The Maidens before I went to bed. And then I just marked that I live with nocturnal assholes. Yes, I do. Could not sleep. Nobody will let me sleep. Nobody lets me sleep. I need to live alone on an island with perfect temperature control so that I can finally get like 8 hours straight of sleep. Moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I marked was that Janet woke me up at 6 in the morning. And like I mentioned in my last plan with me, this is why I do not close my door. I closed my door because the cats were like running all over the place. I had to. They were like getting into things that they shouldn't. But that means that at 6 a.m. when Janet is ready to come cuddle, she screams at my door. So yeah. She woke me up, and she wouldn't stop. Now she's starting to get the hint, but like she was doing it for 45 minutes straight. She does not stop until she gets what she wants. So it's really hard to last, and that's really the only way to like attempt to get a cat to stop meowing all the time is you can't react to it, and it's really hard. Then I just marked that I worked, and while I was working, I marathoned Manda Fenham's, I think that's how you say her channel name, Manda Fenham's vlogs. I used to watch her Plan With Me's way back in the day, like way back in the day. She has not done Plan With Me's for years, but I really enjoy her vlogs, and I was very behind, so I caught up. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. She lives a very interesting yet normal life. She does a lot, and she's not afraid to take the camera out in public, which I really appreciate. A lot of big vloggers still will only just vlog in their apartment. Like, she doesn't even make AdSense, and she is still just like doing it, and I love that. So her videos have been some of my favorites. And then I did an upper body workout. I was feeling very weak, so I did lighter weights than I have been doing. I just didn't have the energy. Again, I just really need sleep. I started a new audiobook called Can't Look Away. I did not like it. I wanted a palate cleanser. I knew it was going to be romance, but I thought it was going to be more thriller just from the way that the book is described. And I guess technically it is, but it's not good. Like, I wouldn't recommend. Let's just say that. I did not like at all. Then I walked to Aldi after work, and then the last thing I marked was that I started a new book called Ghosts, and I'm currently reading it. I'm about like 150 pages in. It's very, very clever writing. There's a lot that I don't really care about. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a very surface level reader, and there are a lot of juicy bits, but there's also a lot about like the main character's father and his like illness, which I always find stories like that sort of boring, but I'm going to stick it through because maybe it all ties in at the end, and I don't know. But yeah, I'm really just here for like the thrills and chills and like backstabbing romances. I'm not really here for sick parents, but we're going to keep reading. The writing is 10 out of 10. This author, very clever. Love her writing style, very witty. Anyway, moving on to Thursday, the first thing I marked was that I worked, and then I did a lower body workout during my break. I finished my puzzle this night, but I was missing a piece, and I thought I did such a good job of keeping the puzzle pieces away from the cats, but one's missing, and they've never eaten a piece before. They tend to Janet likes picking them up with her front paws and flinging them around in the middle of the night. So I'm guessing one time when I went to the bathroom or something, she slipped in and took one. She doesn't do it in front of me. She waits till I'm out of the room. So yeah, it just never turned up, which is a shame. It was actually a really crappy puzzle. Like the quality was very poor. I will say, like, very poor. Fresh out of the bag, this was a new puzzle I had gotten as a gift. Some of the pieces were stained and dirty and bent. And on top of that, they were all just like the same cut. So it wasn't even fun to do, but I still did it. Like, I still enjoy a puzzle. A puzzle's a puzzle, you know? Anyway, then I finally filled out my ballot. I took forever because I was very overwhelmed. I am not like the most informed when it comes to my local politics. I'm ashamed to say, but it is what it is. That's just not me, but I wanted to make good choices, so I had to do a bunch of research before I could finally vote. And actually, I asked a friend, because her dad's like a lawyer, and he knows a lot of the Democratic candidates, so I asked her for some tips on who to pick. But anyway, I finally did it. And then I planned and then read some more of my book, Ghosts. Moving on to Friday, the first thing I marked was that it was an easy day of work. That's always nice. I also worked on my mini. I've explained this on Instagram a little bit, but I've been on a tedious step in my mini where I had to make like 50 little tiny books, and it's very calming. So while I make my stressful phone calls at work, I will glue the book jacket to the little piece of wood. Like, so it helps me calm down while I'm on the phone, and it just like gives me something else to focus on, so I'm not freaking out about talking to humans. It's been very helpful, but unfortunately that step is over, so we're back to the stress ball. Then I marked that I spent like an hour looking for this puzzle piece. I checked everywhere and I cannot find it. Who even knows if it existed in the first place? I'm going to assume it did because it was a new puzzle, but it's gone. Oh well. Then my roommate and I had a very impromptu wine night, which was much needed. We just chatted and drank some wine and then went to bed early. And like I said in my intro, Joe called me and we were just talking about the mob of people outside my apartment. It was actually scary, I'm not gonna lie, because my roommate's car had just gotten broken into and nothing was taken. I was under the impression that maybe it was like a drunken idiot coming around smashing windows. I don't know, I just didn't feel safe, I'm not gonna lie. They were like screaming at each other outside, like 50 to 100 people. It was not a good feeling. And so I used this mosquito sticker from Once More With Love to mark that the mob outside kept me up all night. You get it. I feel like I don't even have to explain it. Moving on to Saturday, the first thing I marked was that I was exhausted and grumpy because duh. And then I washed my sheets because I woke up very sweaty. Like my room just got really hot, and at this point I was still not using AC, but I should have this night. It got way too hot. I felt so gross, so I had to wash my sheets. Then we had dinner plans with some friends who were coming into Philadelphia to see us. So we went to Pietro's and had dinner. And before that, we went to this really nice bar in a restaurant. It was very fancy. I don't remember what it was called, but we just had a drink there while we waited for our reservations. And then we went to Pietro's. And they treated, which was so sweet, especially after coming to see us. But afterwards, we did go bar hopping and we bought them a drink, which is nowhere near as generous as a meal, but it was the least we could do. And I'm not gonna lie, I was feeling old. I could not keep up, but we went to like South Philly and just bopped in and out of a couple places. And I didn't get any more drinks. I just, was there because we were all going. And that also was making me really tired. I was just like sober and hanging out in bars with a bunch of college kids. And then the last thing I marked was I fell asleep on the couch. Couldn't even make it to the bed. Eventually I did get up to wash my face because I always get up to wash my face and brush my teeth, but I did fall asleep on the couch first. Moving on to Sunday, the first thing I marked was that I got ready, and I'm just really trying to use up this sheet from Anxiety Aids of these like makeup stickers if I can. So it looks a little silly, but you could see this lipstick matches this kit so well. It blends into the glitter header. And I just marked that I got ready, and I decided to treat myself to a full Red Bull this day because I was going to be driving us to my uncle's for a Mother's Day barbecue, and I love driving with a Red Bull. I don't know. It's just such a vibe for me. I don't know what the hell my problem is. Add an audiobook and I'm like having the time of my life as long as I'm not driving in Philly. Then I just marked that it was a gorgeous day outside and I need some good like spring, sunny, perfect weather stickers that aren't bathing suit stickers. I don't have any. So leave any recommendations below. Also, I should just check Once More With Love and Coffee Monsters Co., like the regular spots. I have not been looking because I've just been on a no-buy, but that's one thing I am in need of. Then I just marked the Mother's Day barbecue, which was very nice. It was my uncle and his partner and his partner's family and my mom and my grandma, and yeah. It was a good time. The weather was amazing and we sat outside in his big backyard and it was lovely. Then afterwards, Joe and I went to Rita's because I was craving ice cream. I know. I'm complaining about my body and I'm craving ice cream, but I'm sure most of you can relate. And they have cake batter gelati, which I love. I get it with Reese's peanut butter cups, so that is what I got. And then we stopped at Walmart because I needed to stock up on yogurt and like one other thing for the week. And then the final thing on Sunday was that we watched The Challenge. Yeah, so that was everything that happened this week. Again, not a very exciting one, but the mob was interesting. I will say that. And yeah, I don't know. That's it. I will see you in the next one. Bye.